proud members of the Podbelly Network.
What's your favorite scary movie?
Oh, come on, you know I don't watch that shit.
Why not? Too scared?
No, it's just what's the point? They're all the same. Some stupid killer stalking some big-breasted girl who can't act, who's always running up the stairs when she should be going out the front door. It's insulting.
Hello, Ms. Porter, Mrs. Martin.
You don't know how names work. How are you?
I'm good.
Hello, Sammies. This is Kim and Kat Stay Alive.
Maybe. We're a horror movie comedy podcast.
And I'm going to tell you the whole movie. And I'm going to see if Kim can stay alive in it.
And it's going to be a big spoiler alert.
Yep. Giant spoilers. But, let's do our thing first.
Gino holes out.
Tits up. I've also done something very exciting with our peanut butter whiskey. I have poured it into a cup of coffee with some oat milk, and I just can't think of anything more delightful.
Our friend Screwball Whiskey has a fun hashtag that I've noticed they post, and it's Get Screwed.
Oh!
But SKREWED, obviously. And so I've started one called Get Screwed with kksampodcast.
Love it!
So if anyone wants to hashtag anything, go for it.
You guys, we're really close. I think, didn't you tell me they liked a comment or something?
They definitely liked me commenting one time.
Okay.
to sponsor us.
Guys, we're almost there.
Because people keep tagging us and all the whiskey they're buying from us talking about it.
You guys, come on. So keep it happening, Sammies. We believe in you. What was I just going to say? Oh,
you had a thing.
I was just going to say that the movie that we're doing today was voted on by our patrons.
Oh, right.
Mm-hmm. And I was happy with their vote.
Good.
I was hoping this was the one they would vote for. So that's
great.
great. Yeah. Do we have any business?
I have some life to talk about.
Talk about some life. I have some life as well.
Okay.
Do you have one of those? Do you want me to go first with my life?
Sure, yeah.
I'll go first with my life. So, encountered a really touching, uplifting, and heartfelt moment with a dear friend of mine who said that our description in Dead Snow of poop sex saved her from mortal emotional embarrassment on a plane.
Wait, what?
Okay. So a dear friend of mine, her father passed away. And it was very sudden. And she was flying home to go okay, my dad's dead now. Oof. And it was just really emotional for her. And I think she's also someone who's I get the impression not super comfortable crying in public that. To me, I'm if the tears are coming, they're coming. I don't know what to tell you, but that's just not really her. So obviously this was a really emotional time for her. And then there was this added element of I feel I can't hide from when I'm going to burst into tears. So I saw her for the first time and I was like, how are you? And she was like, well, I mean, my dad died, so I'm that good. And I was like, that's great. You seem whatever. The fact that she even mentioned it, I was like, oh, cool. There's some processing. And she was like, but I got to tell you, I really have to thank you and Kim. And I was like, why? And she was like, well, I was sitting on the plane and I felt it coming on. I felt the big cry coming on. And I put on your podcast and I had already started Dead Snow. And right as I feel the big cry coming on, you started telling me about the poop sex. And I just couldn't stop laughing, and it helped me avoid the big cry on the plane.
Happy.
Yeah,
That's one of the sweetest stories I've ever
I
heard.
know, isn't it? But then she texted me later. It cracked me up because she goes, I was like, I'm going to share this story. And she was like, please, and she was like, if you could not use my name, though, because otherwise it just feels a little sacrilege that I'm associating the death of my father with poop sex. So if we could just, I understand your intent, but if we could just keep it anonymous. I was like, fair enough. But I was like, oh my God, poop sex saved my friend.
That makes me really happy.
Yeah, it makes me really happy too. I was like, wow, obviously, it was the subject matter. But I just think it's cool that like, I don't know, we're making people laugh in spite of themselves. Yeah. And people like want to come and tell us that we make them laugh. And it just
makes me really happy.
And it just kind of made me think of like you. Like I'm like, oh, you're experiencing what Kim and I experience often, where it's like no matter how sad we are, we can still figure out how to make the person laugh.
Yeah.
And I think that's super fucking cool as shit.
Oh, I love hearing that. Thank you for sharing.
You're welcome. How did poop sex save your life?
I'm not sure yet.
It's still early in the day.
Looking forward to the moment I find out, though. Oh God. I did start and stop dating someone since last we recorded.
But it was progressive. You started and stopped in a way that was really mature and progressive, and I'm proud of you.
Yeah. So the guy that I talked about last time just kind of dwindled away. And it's funny because every time Kendra would see me, she's like, so do you like him? And I'd be like, yeah, I'm going to go out again. Yeah. But like, clearly this is how I felt.
Yeah.
And then it just literally like dwindled. I feel like we're both just like, okay, bye. Like it wasn't a thing. And then I started talking to someone on Tinder, and we literally met 1 week ago today, but then went on 3 dates in less than a week and spent like 5,000 hours together, like, and just like sat and talked the whole time. And like he's sober, so we weren't drinking. And just like our last date, we like literally just sat and talked till like 2:30 in the morning for like 6 hours. And it was great. And
we got you, Burnsy.
But he like got out of a relationship a year and a half ago, a little over a year and a half ago, and got sober at the same time. So it's a lot. And this was his first like kind of dip back into dating. And
you were very clear about, and you were very clear. Do you want to hear? I waited to tell you this for the podcast because I want you to hear it. And I feel like my voice is literally in your head right now because you have headphones on. So I'm like, she can't tune me out even if she tries. So here's the thing. I've, put my fury aside, and my fury just comes with anytime anyone. The wind could blow Kim in a way that is uncomfortable for her, and I'm furious at the wind. What I think is really cool about what is going on for you right now, because I can see it from an outside perspective, that you are drawing people to you that are far more aligned with what you're trying to do and who you're trying to be. Yeah. Which is interesting because you've actually always done that. Like you've always drawn people to you that are like where you are at that time,
right, which is sometimes a big hot mess.
Exactly. Like if you're a hot mess, you draw in hot messes. Yeah. And it's like that is actually a kind of real superpower that you're like, oh shit, like I got to learn how to wield this. But here's what I think is happening. You are drawing people to you that want to be better people and see you as like this amazing positive force. I was about to say light, but it's more like a force. But here's what happens. They want that, but you have done so much work and you're so clear with what you want that you are attracting people like almost like at the beginning of their journey. And so when you go, okay, this is what I'm looking for, they go, oh, I just realized I'm not ready for that. Like I'm really drawn to this person, but like you draw them in and then you challenge them. Yeah. And that is like the next step that like a lot of people haven't gotten to yet. And the reason that I know that is because that's what you've done for me. You were never going to get rid of me. Like I was never going to go anywhere. But there is like, I would say the two people that challenge me the most are you and Eric, in that it's like, here's what we know you to be and here's what I expect of you. And if I'm not ready to give you what you expect of me, I mean, I don't leave because I can't leave either of you, but I do feel challenged and uncomfortable. So if you're not ready to face those parts of yourself, you're kind of like, your bright light is pretty blinding. And you're like, well, I just need to turn my head away then because I don't have any sunglasses yet.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I know that
That's
doesn't
nice. Thank you.
help, but I hope it also like helps.
Yeah. I mean, that's one of the things I really liked about him is because he's like so into working on himself. He was going to 2 #therapists. And he's like super into like, and just open to like definitely on the journey. Like, and like, I had just a lot more information about a lot of things that I like would share with him, and he was super into everything or just open to a lot of things. And like, which is literally why he was like, I'm not ready because I like am truly working on myself, which is something that I love. And then he also like just like at the same time, he's not like a fucking spiritual nurse like some people are, or like a coach, which there's nothing wrong with those things, but it's just not my person. Right. I want someone who's like on their personal journey, but like he like was in like battle rap for a living, which I think is cool as fuck. Yeah. And then uses his platform to help people too. Like, oh God. Yeah. I was like, panty dropper. I'm like, helps people and like wants to be a better person all the time. And like that the whole, more we talk,
battle rap kind of vibe is very like Philly too.
I know. Yeah. So that is something that I learned from him. And like the last person that I actually really liked is like, there's 0% chance I can be with someone who isn't like constantly into personal growth and who isn't like doing something to make the world a better place. Like, right. So that's good to know.
But you've also like, and I've told you this before.
I'm crying on the podcast again, you guys.
But I've also like, I've told you this before. The more picky you get about what you will and will not accept, the smaller your pool gets.
100%. It's just starting to feel that way. And it's just like, it's like equally frustrating and good. Like I'm like, the last 2 people I really liked, like I was like getting closer and closer to something that I was like, wow, I really connect with you. And I also really respect everything that you are as a person and have fun on top of all of it. So like
you're
that's a really good thing. That's what I'm bringing in. So that's good. And I super appreciate him being like honest. Like he didn't fuck around with me at all. Like he was very, very open. So I appreciate that. I feel like there was something else I wanted to say. Oh, about the bright light thing. After our first date, he did text me and he was like, I had fun. He's like, you have a really like warm and welcoming aura. And I was like, oh, I really love that. That's like what someone got from me on our first date.
Yeah. I mean, it's pretty apparent. And I think it's something that you used to put a little bit of a blanket over. And
yeah, that's true.
You're pretty fucking blinding, you know? And that comes with its own shit. But you got this. And you're so fucking loved.
I know.
And you inspire me every fucking day.
Thank you. Yeah. Since it happened, I like haven't had a second to spare. Like I was like, had an audition. He told me like yesterday and I was like, I have to go to an audition. I have to go straight to work. I have to wake up this morning and do this huge thing for the podcast that we can't talk about yet. And then come and record. So I like haven't really had time to just like
to process.
Cry and process.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then I feel slightly judgmental of myself because I'm like, oh, it's been a week and you're sad. But I'm like, you know what? I feel things deeply and I'm highly sensitive. And the fact that I feel things fully is a good thing.
Yeah. And what we just talked about this morning, that like I very much empathize with you judging yourself, you know, when you haven't known someone for like a specific period of time, because I used to do the same thing. Yeah. And Kim knew me when I would lay in bed for 2 fucking days over a guy that I was like sort of seeing for 2 months. So I think the
difference is too, though, like that, because I know what that is too. And that's like something that I'm not doing. And it's something I've talked about through here. I'm not feeling like as obsessive with people anymore. Agreed. Or being like, he's my fucking husband. Like our first date was actually kind of underwhelming because I was like super excited to meet him because of all the things he does. And then it just like got better and better the more we talked and connected, you know? So I feel like it was a really healthy dating situation. Yeah. And that like, I'm just like, and I wasn't even still like, he's my fucking husband. Like, it was just more like, you know, like.
I'm connecting.
I really love our connection and I'm like super excited for more. Like it just like grew in a really like organic, nice way.
And you're right.
So that's a good thing too. Yeah. I'm just
and
not,
he also like did you a favor in the fact that like he listened to you and was like, I remember her talking about
He
this.
heard me very
And I remember, and I listened to like what she needs, and I just realized I can't give that to her. So rather than like faking it or dragging it out, which probably would have been easier, quote unquote, he was like, I mean,
Yeah.
she was very clear about where she was. I have to be clear about where I am.
Yep. Which I super, super appreciate. It just fucking sucks.
It does fucking suck.
Thanks for listening to me, Sammys. And listening to me cry again on the podcast.
Well, now I'm even more.
I love you all.
Yeah. Now I'm even more excited for the film that you guys chose. It's
Good.
as if you knew, because it's
Oh, yay.
definitely a fun ride.
Oh, good.
As opposed to like one of my other choices, which was like The Lighthouse, which I don't think would have been like a spirit lifter.
Sad.
Yeah, so that's good. So thanks, Sammys. Thanks for
Yay.
coming to Kim's rescue.
Thank you to our patrons.
Yeah.
We're going to, every month, they're going to get to vote on a movie we do.
Yeah, and that's the thing.
Next month will be for me.
Yeah, come see us over at Patreon, you guys. We are stepping up our
we're doing some
BGE
fun
2020 game on Patreon.
We figured out how to make live videos, so we just
Yep.
hop on live there.
Yep.
And
If you
we
want-
can interact live.
If you want 4.5 minutes of us live figuring out whether or not we're live, that's available over on Patreon.
That's a full 4.5 minutes.
Yeah.
Of us fucking around,
Yep.
not knowing what's going on.
Yep. It
living
was,
our lives.
But now we know how to do
boop.
it. But yeah, you could like talk to us. It was cool.
It was really cool.
it
I'm
was
excited.
fucking- yeah, it was awesome. All right.
So yay, Fright Night.
Are you ready?
I am.
So here's a little, since you guys picked it, if this is a movie that you're like fucking super into, or even if it's a movie you're not super fucking into, but you think we do a really great job telling it, send this episode to a friend that doesn't know.
Or if you have a friend that you know loves this movie
Yeah.
that doesn't know us yet, send it over.
Yeah, we would like to be introduced to your friends, please. You know, we're fun ladies. We're social. Introduce
they'll
us.
love a new podcast where some chick cries on it about a dude she's known for a week.
Yeah, tell them just let them know about this episode. Maybe take
They're like, oh, that was horrific.
Maybe take a
Thanks,
gander at that timestamp, which appears to be about 17 minutes, and you know, ease them into it. Have them dip their toe in the water.
All right, I'm ready to fright my night.
Okay, here we go. So, a voiceover.
Dead or alive?
Oh, fuck me. I'm like looking at the Dead or Alives.
Rude.
I'm so sorry. Charlie.
Dead. Ooh, I felt bad saying that.
Oh, Amy.
Alive.
Evil Ed.
Alive.
Peter Vincent.
Dead.
Vamp / Jerry Dandridge.
Dead.
Creep / Billy.
Alive.
Okay. Not great. Pretty bad.
They get 0.
We're back. We're back to our regular rules. It's fine. You'll make it up in the questions.
I always do. Look,
Yep.
You know what? I'm great at actually
you
staying
really are.
alive.
You really are.
I'm not good at guessing things based off nothing.
Okay, here we go. All right. So, voiceover of a lady talking about how beautiful the night is, talking to a dude who is enthralled with her. And as we hear this voiceover, the camera, it's nighttime and it's misty and it's panning from one house to the neighbor of that house. So the house that we start on has got like a very sort of Victorian Gothic vibe to it. And then it pans over to the neighbor's house, which is like a more normal sort of colonial house that we might see on any suburban street. And we're listening to this chick and dude, and he's like, your lips, they're so red. And she's like, would you like to kiss them? And we realize that the camera is now coming in a window of the more suburban house. And we realize it's a very overdramatic vampire show that's on a TV. And the star of this show, we're introduced to Peter Vincent, vampire killer. And it's Roddy McDowell. Do you know who Roddy McDowell is?
Nope.
Do you know the movie Overboard?
Yeah, I've seen it, but like when I was a baby.
I know him very well as the butler in Overboard, and I just love him so much, but I can't see him as anything other than Goldie Hawn's butler on a boat. But he did great. So it's sort of a very like campy, over the top TV show in the sense that like Peter Vincent is wearing like kind of a Sherlock Holmes type of cloak, and as he like chases the vampire into the next room, he's holding the stake up with like a fucking hammer, so like he can't just stab them. It's not Buffy style. He's gotta like chisel it in.
Interesting.
I guess he doesn't have vampire slayer strength. So really over the top, and it is absolutely not being watched by two kids who are making out. And I would like you to picture teenagers making out.
Okay.
Where it's just not, neither of them are great at it.
Okay.
You know, it's a lot of slobbering, mouths are too open, heads are being swallowed, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
But they're not lying on the bed. They're laying on like the floor next to the bed. And the boy keeps like moving his hand up her shirt, and she like keeps stopping him and being like, don't. And then we hear the TV as they're making out, and we realize that the TV show that Peter Vincent is on is called Fright Night.
Okay.
So then he like, Charlie, his name is Charlie. He keeps like moving his hand up her shirt, and finally she like throws his arm off and is like, stop.
Yeah. Consent.
Charlie then gets mad and is like, we've been going together a year, Amy. Then she's like, I'm sorry. Let's get in bed. And I'm like, this is the
Amy.
fucking 80s.
When was this made?
1982. It's a Tom Holland movie. So, but it's like Charlie was not painted as a villain in this scene. Right. It was painted as like a very normal scene that happens between two teenagers making out. Like it was just very obvious. She then feels guilty that she's not ready. Yeah.
Amy, girl.
So she's like,
you get to be ready when you're ready, girl.
Yes. Also,
it's okay.
Like, you're a cat.
Fuck Charlie.
Like, it's fine. Oh, do you know? Okay, so the chick that plays Amy.
Don't fuck Charlie.
Right.
Fuck Charlie when you're ready.
Like, fuck Charlie. Don't like fuck Charlie.
Yeah.
Yeah. The chick who plays Amy is, do you remember the neighbor from Married with Children?
The neighbor?
Yes.
Girl?
Yes. It's her.
You mean like the mom? Like she's like a woman in Married with Children.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
It's
yeah,
her.
Yeah, I know her.
So she's like, I'm sorry, let's get in bed. And he's like, you mean it? And they're like kissing, standing up, right? And he like kind of opens his eyes and he sees something out the window and like is distracted by it. So they kind of stop kissing and he's like looking out the window, and she goes to the bed and we just see her like nervously taking her shirt off.
Oh, I don't like this.
I hate
what
this.
The fuck?
I went on
consent.
I'll just say this. I went on an entire journey with Amy that had little to nothing to do with the plot of this movie. Like,
look, if it's not a hell yes,
it's
a hell no.
So basically, I mean, this movie for me is about Amy's journey, 100%. With the backdrop of whatever.
Amy.
Yeah. So she's like nervously taking her top off. No boobs. It was just like bra still on, which I appreciated. I'm like, don't put Amy through this. Like she can barely.
She doesn't want to.
So she's like nervously like just kind of waiting on the bed, and he's still looking out the window, and now he like gets fucking binoculars and is like, what are they doing? And we see what he sees, and it's two people carrying a coffin into the house next door.
Ooh.
And he's like obsessed now. Like he's like, what the fuck is going on? Amy can't see it, obviously. She's on the bed, you know, trying to be consensual but not feeling it. And she's like, do you want to make love or not? Because like for her, she's like going through this whole journey where she's like, I don't want to lose my boyfriend. He just yelled at me because I didn't want him to touch my boobs. So I guess I'll give him what he wants. And now he's like,
now he's not even interested.
Now he's not interested. Amy. Yeah. It's like the story of Amy. Yeah. So Amy then gets mad and leaves. And I was like, good yes, queen. Girl. Like that was was like a mini choice that I'm behind. Good for you. So, and she like yells, she like goes down the stairs and he like runs after her. And now they're at the bottom of the stairs and she's like, first you want to make love and then you don't. And then we hear from the living room, Charlie, Amy, come in here. Charlie's mom was just like sitting there like watching TV. And we learned very quickly that she's kind of like a single mom who isn't a stranger to a glass of wine and a quick Valium. Okay.
Okay.
So she's like, are you having a lover's spat? This article here says that 76%, there's a 76% higher. Oh, my typos are making this illegible. Basically, she's saying 76% of couples that don't argue before marriage end up getting divorced. So she's like, it's good that you're fighting. And Charlie is like, Mom, leave us alone. And Charlie is like still fucking obsessed with what's going on outside. So like even now he's fucking ignoring her. Like Amy is trying to be like, let's like put on a good face for your mom. And he's just like not answering direct questions that Amy is asking him like in front of his mom. And so finally she's just like, you know what, I'm leaving. And she like turns around, leaves the door, slams it. I'm just like, worst boyfriend ever. Like this is already a horror movie.
Amy, you got to get out of there, girl.
It's already a horror movie.
You deserve better, Amy.
100%.
BGE.
She's cute.
BGE.
Yes. She's like super cute. So then we see like after she leaves on the news that mom is watching, we just hear man found murdered on the train tracks and blah, 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 blah. So like, okay, a body was found. Cut to next day, school. Charlie is walking out of class with his friend Ed, who he calls Evil Ed, like as a nickname. And Ed's like, stop calling me evil.
So much of that sentence had question marks.
It's because I may be starting a spin-off podcast that is, can we talk about the character of Evil Ed in the movie Fright Night? He is... I know what character archetype he's supposed to be. He's like the funny sidekick friend.
Okay.
He's the ducky. He's right. the friend on crutches in whatever the fuck.
Yeah.
Night of the Creeps. Okay, like he's that guy. I get it. But the choices that this character makes are just mesmerizingly strange. I mean, utterly confounding. And I'm like, I see what you're doing, but I've never seen anyone do it this way. And I truly don't know if you are legitimately the worst actor I've ever seen or like worlds beyond any actor I've ever seen and the best one. I don't know. To this day, I don't know. I have no clue. It's the strangest choices. I mean, so anyway, they walk out of the classroom and Charlie is like, that bastard. Why didn't he tell us he was going to spring a pop quiz? And I was like, I hate this guy.
That's
like, I fucking hate this dude. He's mad at his girlfriend for not getting to feel her boobs. And he's mad at his teacher for giving him a pop quiz that he didn't fucking study for. Hashtag goodbye. So overly funny friend Ed is just like, that's why it's called a pop quiz, Charlie. Oh, you're so cool, Brewster. I'm not exaggerating. This is what's happening. Oh, God, I just want like, if any of our Sammys, if anyone can do a supercut of Evil Ed from Fright Night, I would be forever indebted to you because I will analyze. I'll write a fucking like expose essay on this motherfucker. I need to know where he is now. I need to know where he's been.
I hope that's what I expect for our postmortem now. Thank you. Over on Patreon.
100% will be doing, my entire Patreon will be about this person who plays Ed. So as they're talking, Amy pushes through them without speaking to Charlie. And I'm like, yes, queen. Like, just she's just like, fuck you. But like, doesn't say anything. And he like calls after her and she doesn't turn around. And I'm like,
BGE.
Yep. So now we're home from school. Charlie is walking into his home. As he's about to walk up the front steps, a super smoking hot 80s blonde gets out of a taxi. And she is dressed to the nines, like does not fit in a suburban area, nor does she fit in the daylight. She's definitely wearing a night ensemble.
A night ensemble.
And she's like, we learned that she's like looking for the neighbor's house.
It reminds me when we used to hang out with the Whiskeys.
Oh my God.
When we first moved here, we hung out with this band all the time called Whiskey Circus. And did you spill on yourself?
I did.
Little spill?
Yeah.
And I just remember one time we were like at their house partying all weekend.
For this story.
But it was like Monday morning at this point. And like Phil came downstairs or something and he's like, oh, hey, Kim Burns, Monday morning still in your Friday night party gear or something like that.
Yep, that was, you would lose entire chunks of days at the Whiskey Circus house.
Get lost there.
For sure. It's, oh man. They also made you like a terrible employee. Not you, like they made one a terrible employee. I remember I showed up, whatever job I was working. Oh, was that like fucking store in Santa Monica?
Yeah, clothing store.
And like I had been at the Whiskey's house for 48 hours.
Exactly.
And had to go to work in Santa Monica. You guys will not understand how far their house was from Santa Monica. Still drunk, for sure. And it was like a giant sales day where it was like we were having an event.
Right.
And I looked so bad that they had to dress me because they were like, you cannot be seen by customers. You look bananas. And I realized that I was I was just like, I just looked haggard. Like I just looked unwashed. Yeah. Like I just looked bad. Like
That's
I was
what
like,
the Whiskeys do to you.
yeah, like I was like, like the choice to be like, I guess this makeup from 48 hours ago is acceptable, like under my eyes, like that's not. And then I was like, still like making such terrible decisions that like as my coworker was like dressing me, I was like, I totally hooked up with the lead singer of Whiskey Circus. And she was like, this is not appropriate. I don't care. I'm 40. And you're a mess. And I was like, it was so fun. It was fun. Why are we talking about this?
Friday night party gear.
Hi, Whiskeys.
During the daytime.
Yeah. Okay. So he like directs her to the neighbor's house and just blatantly stares at her ass as she walks away. And to be fair, I mean, like for a teenage boy, like he didn't have much choice. Like his boner hit him in the eyeball. Like there was nothing to be done. So he goes upstairs to study and mom is like, study you? Like she's just a real, like she's one of those moms that's like, I'm your friend, not your mom. And I'm like, Charlie needs a mom because he doesn't know how to respect women. So
yeah, for reals.
So he's in his room and he's trying to do his trig homework. And he then hears a blood-curdling scream from next door. Kim, what do you do and what does he do?
Well, I think that he is real interested.
Okay.
I think he's going to
I understand you don't know him super well yet.
I don't know him yet because it's like either A, I think he's just going to look out with binoculars, or B, kind of like really go kind of look in the windows and stuff, like go over. I love trig. I'm not going to lie.
Okay.
So I'm probably going to keep doing my trig.
That's a point for you. You are actually correct. Like your instincts were correct that he has led us to believe that he's someone who would at least look out the binoculars. So I'm actually wondering if there was like a scene cut because he just kind of like looks and then we cut to the next scene.
Oh,
so I was like, interesting. Jinx.
Interesting.
So
no, that's interesting.
No, you're interesting.
No, I'm interesting.
So now we cut to Charlie. So it was like, "Ah!" And then like he looks. And then we cut to Charlie at a diner. Amy walks up. And he's like, I'm sorry.
Are you?
And she says, no, it's my fault.
No! No! Amy!
Yeah.
Oh, my sweet baby Amy.
I know. I felt.
Oh, Amy.
I was like,
I just want to take her under my arm,
Yeah.
and I want to put a nice little fucking leopard cheetah print shirt on
Yeah.
her and a nice mink vest
stole.
from our grandmother,
yeah.
and give her some big grandma energy because
She doesn't have any.
needs some.
And it like broke my heart because I was like, I remember when I didn't have big grandma energy.
Yeah, I know, me too.
Like I remember when I would have said like, I'm sorry I didn't let you touch my boobs. I mean, the difference is I let everyone touch my boobs, but you get what I'm saying.
I think the difference was no one wanted to touch your boobs.
I think that was the difference. That I was like, I'm sorry that you don't want to touch my boobs. It's true. And so she's like, it's my fault. And then he's like, Amy, I love you. So she keeps talking. And she like sits down now. And she's talking about how awful it's been not talking. She's like, it's been a terrible 2 days.
I
and
feel you, girl.
Oh my God.
on that part.
it's heartbreaking. But don't worry. Amy has some fun little things that happen later. Okay. Don't you worry, girl.
Great.
So she's just like talking and she's like really being sincere and sweet, and that she's like, you know, I'm really glad that we're like working this out, that
Marcy.
we're talking this out.
Marcy.
Marcy. That's who it is. Marcy. Yeah.
Sorry, just remembered.
I couldn't remember it either. Thank you. I kept saying Pammy, like, but it's like kind of that same vibe. Pammy and Marcy. Yeah. So as she's fucking talking, being like, I'm really glad that we're having a healthy conversation about this, Charlie fucking sees something on the news, on the TV above the, bar, and gets up while she's talking and walks away.
I cannot with this motherfucker.
I also cannot. I was
Amy.
furious.
Okay, I have so many things. I'm like, Amy, you deserve to be with a person who wants to sit and speak with you and
100%.
is invested in all the wonderful things you're saying.
100%.
Charlie, you need to get your fucking shit together. What are you
Yes.
doing?
What are you doing?
Be open and honest that you're not ready for a relationship.
Yeah, like it's just like, or like, okay. I happen to be married to someone who has like very split focus. So it's like the beginning of our relationship was me being like, I feel like you're not paying attention to me and I want to throw a temper tantrum about it. And frankly, I still do that a little bit, but we now have a language where he can be like, I have 40 million TVs going in my head at all times. So like sometimes I just like tune into the wrong channel and like it's not personal basically. So I'm like, maybe Charlie is this person, but at the same time, like you have to like tell someone like this is not okay with me, you know?
I mean, they're teenagers. They're figuring themselves out, but
100%. That's why I'm like, Amy, like I'm not mad at you. Like you'll learn. You'll earn your big grandma energy. It's fine. But in the meantime, I'm heartbroken. So he is looking at the TV because there was another murder. And they show a picture of the girl who was murdered, and it was the fucking chick that walked into the house
the
from
lady
next
of
door.
the night in the
lady
day.
of the night in the day.
Whoa.
Turns out
that
she-
is very interesting to like.
Yes. But I just, there is a, I'm so sorry, Amy. I have to respond to this, and I have to tell you why I'm responding to this.
Yeah.
Please don't think that I'm like not interested in what you're saying.
Yes.
You know what
Thank you.
Yeah. So turns out she was an actual lady of the night, a prostitute, a sex worker who was murdered. And, so I wrote, he fucking gets up as she's talking to go look at the TV, and I just wrote, leave him, girl.
Please.
And so that we hear the newscaster being like, badly mutilated corpse found by the old mill. Then here comes old Evil Ed. He comes over and is like laughing that both bodies were found missing heads, but laughing in this way that I was like, you're not a creep. You're just so fucking weird. What are you? Who are you? I can't get into it. So you are Chalrey, okay, upon hearing this news, literal news, what do you do and what does he do?
I am going to, I think tell the police. It seems like I have some information. Like, I wonder if they knew that she was at the house next door hours before being murdered.
Right.
Seems like important information.
100%.
Fuck, I don't know this motherfucker.
I mean, the clue I can give you is like your instinct for the last question was correct.
So let's say maybe now. Okay, so he knows that she died and she was next door. Okay, so maybe
like at this
now
point, yeah.
he goes next door and kind of pokes around.
Because he like saw her walk into the house and then saw her on the news.
Yeah. Okay.
So you think he goes and pokes around?
Yeah. The next door.
Yes. Going to the police with very specific information, very useful. So good job. What he does is he does go and investigate. He goes home and he sees like he has like a direct shot into their window. And he sees someone painting the house inside. And so he goes around to the back and he tries to open the storm door. Storm door is like, where Dorothy tried to hide in Wizard of Oz.
I know storm doors.
Oh, okay. I just learned that they were called that. So that's why I was...
My house in Philly had storm doors that go down into the basement.
Where it's like a door on the ground?
Yeah.
Okay. Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Is that interesting? For some reason, I was under the impression that like storm doors were only in places where there were tornadoes. Is that just my Wizard of Oz
I think
influence?
It's just Wizard of Oz influence because every house next to us had them too. It was just the way it was set up.
And it just goes down into a basement under the house.
So like you could go, there was obviously a door with steps inside the house that goes down to the basement.
Okay.
And then there was the storm door, like entrance exit, which we like never used really, but
how cool.
It was very creepy.
Yeah. How interesting. Okay. So he goes to the storm door because what he ended up seeing in the beginning scene was that they were like putting this coffin down the storm door part of the house. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And so he's like trying to open it and it's locked. And kid, what you doing,
kid?
And it was the dude that was painting inside. And Charlie's like, nothing. And creepy painting dude was like, just make sure it stays that way, kid. And Charlie like runs off. By the way, I don't think I ever typed Charlie. I typed Chalrey 100% of the time. So every time I get to his name, I'm like, Chalrey. So he runs off. Cut to him in his room watching spooky movies in like kind of a really manic, weird way, because I was just like, you think someone was murdered next door and then someone told you to like not go down. Like, I don't know. Like, I would still just be like on that path mentally. But instead, he's just like in his room watching spooky movies. And it's like a montage of him just like eating junk food like a fucking teenage boy and like just drinking like 400 cans of soda and then crushing them up and throwing them on the floor. And then there's like nudie mags everywhere. And it's like just a montage of like what the fuck teenage boys do in their room.
In the 80s.
God. I just can't. I bet it. Oh, God, the smell. Like, oh God. They just didn't know. Maybe teenage boys like don't have fully developed olfactory cells.
Maybe they don't.
Because I'm just like, y'all are fucking gross. So that's like what is happening. He wakes up kind of in the middle of the night because like his TV is static. And he like was even like asleep in a chair. Like I was like, you're a mess, bro. Like you're just like a fucking mess. Like take your jeans off. Like lay in bed. Like you're a mess. So he fucking wakes up and he looks across the way and it's his neighbor. Not creep. Different neighbor. Same house. About to bone a new chick. And they're like standing at the window and he's like, the hot neighbor is like standing behind her, you know, in that like very sensual way. And then like all of a sudden she like sensually takes her bra off and fucking Chalrey is there with his goddamn binoculars. Just like, boobs!
I'm surprised he could see the binoculars through his boner to his eye.
He had to push his boner to the side a little bit.
Excuse me, sir.
Actually, he just rested his boner like between the two. Yeah. That's actually what that spot is for. On binoculars.
Yeah, it just holds your boner.
It just holds your boner.
Watching sexy times.
So he sees dude behind this girl. So like he's sensually behind her, right? And she's like got her eyes closed and just like feeling the moment. And he sees the dude expose his bangs as he goes to bite her neck. At that moment, right before vampy neighbor dude sees Chalrey. And he just stares at him and slowly closes the blinds. But the most terrifying part of this shot was the creepily long nails on this gentleman. I cannot think of anything that is a bigger turnoff to me than gentlemen with long talon-like nails.
Yeah, like what's his face in what's it called?
Oh, in Angel Heart.
Angel Heart.
Yes, Robert De Niro in Angel Heart.
Yeah.
I got you, girl.
What was his name?
The Devil? I think his name was The Devil.
I think we called him something.
Did we?
Because we didn't know he was the devil in the beginning.
Yeah, what did we call him? Egg nails or something? Didn't he like have an egg or something?
Did have an egg.
But I like, and if a dude has like, you know how like the top of your nail is like white as it gets longer?
Yeah.
If a dude has like literally any white,
No.
I want to blorf. Like
I'm not down with
cannot handle it. I dated a guy that like had like his nails were too long, and I just was like, I didn't have my BGE at that time because like now I'd just be like, cut your fucking nails, you disgusting motherfucker.
Wow.
But like I couldn't at the time, so I was just like,
I mean, I think everyone should do what they want. It's a little sexist, but also cut your nails.
No, like I can honestly say that like if I was with a woman, I also wouldn't be into long nails.
Yeah, because she's shoving them up your vajayjay.
100%. It grosses me out. I don't like it. My hatred for long nails on my body is all inclusive. Like I love your long nails, but that's because we're not hooking up.
Ugh.
Rude.
Gross.
So rude.
Disgusting.
Yeah.
Blorf.
Blorf. Okay.
Okay, no.
What are we talking about?
Now I accept.
Yeah.
Anyone who's shoving their fingers up my vagina.
I don't want long nails.
Cut your fucking nails.
Like I can't. It's so it's so gross to me. So
what if it's just the one pinky nail?
I hate it. I hate it. I just don't. Oh God. I just want only fleshy tips on my. Ain't that the truth?
Only fleshy tips touching my
body.
Pussy.
Anywhere. I only fleshy tips.
Soft, fleshy, hard tips.
Yep. That's all I want.
Rubbing around down there.
Kim, what is our podcast about?
I don't know.
Okay. So
he has long nails.
So Chalrey goes and wakes up mom. And mom is like got her sleep mask on, 2 Valiums deep.
She's like, hello?
And fucking Chalrey comes in and he's like, the guy next door has bangs. And she's like, bitch, I am asleep. Get out of here. So at that point, he looks out his mom's window because she's like, get out of here. And he sees Creep loading what looks like a body in a black trash bag into the car.
Boy.
Okay.
Uh-huh.
Kim, what do you do? What does he do?
I think. Oh, okay. Is the car going somewhere?
There's currently not a driver in the front seat. It's a Jeep. But like it's being loaded in there with the anticipation of them going somewhere.
Like I was gonna say, can Chalrey drive? How old is he?
He could potentially have a license. He doesn't have a car though. Because he's walking. You know what? He's walking everywhere in this movie, so I'm going to say no.
Okay. I'll do me. As previously discussed, I don't fuck with long-haired nailed dudes.
No, she does not.
Long-haired nailed dudes.
No, she does not.
So I'm going to say none ya business, Burns. And just, I don't care. Okay. I don't care about you neighbors.
Okay.
Creeps.
Keep to yourself.
Live your life.
Yeah. What does he do?
Or don't. And what does he do? The guy's leaving. Okay, so he told his, where is he?
He's in his mom's room, and like his mom was like, leave me alone.
Right.
And then he sees the body bag.
I think he's going to like aggressively tell his mom now. Be like, you have to wake up. Look.
1 point for you. He decides to walk out of the house, hide in the bushes that separate his property from their property. And as he's hiding in the bushes, picture this. We have a POV.
Is it next door or across the street?
Next door.
Okay.
Yeah. We have a POV of someone running off the roof because we hear footsteps and then flying down. Okay. Then all of a sudden, dude with the fangs and the nails is standing in the driveway.
Oh boy.
And he says to Creep, forgot something, and he tosses a gold hat and Creep like catches it. And I was like, did I see this gold hat on somebody? I don't recall seeing a gold hat on anybody, but it was definitely like the camera was on this gold hat. So I was like, okay. This is also the moment that I remembered where the fuck I remember Creepy Nails from.
Where?
He's motherfucking Prince Humperdinck from Princess Bride.
Oh.
Now, here's what's crazy. Watching Princess Bride, I could not have possibly been less attracted to Prince Humperdinck. Even if he had long talons for nails. He was the capacity for people I'm not attracted to. Mm-hmm. Very much not the case in this movie.
Ooh.
I was like, you have some big vampire energy that I'm into.
Ooh, big
and
vampire
I am
energy.
Flailing it for sure.
Ooh.
Cut those nails and let's talk.
Got a little BGE mixed in with my BVE.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I was into his BBE from go, honestly. So
you just like, as he's sleeping in his coffin, you're just like, I'm just gonna clip your nails.
I'm just gonna clip them.
Just go to sleep. Go to sleep.
You can bite me after. Honestly, it's fine. I'm a little into it, but just those nails. If you could just. So, Chalrey is hiding in the bushes. Conversation happening between Creep and Humperdinck, and Mom then comes out the front door and she's like, Chalrey! Chalrey! And so they're like alerted to like someone being there. So Creep and Humperdinck realize that he's spying. Humperdinck then walks slowly towards where Chalrey is hiding in the bushes. Unclear as to whether or not he can see him or sense him. Uh-huh. And he had been eating an apple this whole time and just kind of like tosses it in his general direction, just a little tauntingly. And at that point, Chalrey is like, bloop, 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 and like runs out of the bushes inside. And Humperdinck is just like, who the fuck is this idiot? So inside, Mom is saying to him, she's like, I just had the strangest nightmare. It sounds like you had a nightmare too. Are you sick? Do you need some hot cocoa? And he's like, I didn't have a nightmare. I don't need hot cocoa. A bat flew over my head and then he was there and they murdered a girl. And don't you see that? And Mom's like, you're ill. And I wrote, Mom's not buying it. And she's kind of funny. Like I really liked her energy as well. I was like, I'd pop a couple volumes with this bitch.
Yeah.
She'd host a great like wine and cheese night that would get like a little too rowdy, and you'd wake up with a surprising hangover the next day and be like, but that was a good night.
So many laughs.
Yeah. So then finally Chalrey blurts out and he's like, he's a vampire. And mom goes, a what? Cuts to Amy in the house going, a what? So Amy is now here the next day.
Got it.
And she doesn't believe him. And so Chalrey gets mad. As Chalrey, what do you decide to do now? And what does Chalrey do?
This is interesting. So I can't decide if it's really important to him for them to believe him. Like if it's more like, I'm going to prove this to you, Amy. Or if he's like, all right, I need to do this on my own. Or
it could be both.
Or does he get Dr. Evil involved? What's his name?
Evil Ed.
Evil Ed.
Dr. Evil. Yes, Michael Myers playing. Oh, Michael
Myers.
Oh, well, Mike
Michael
Myers. Mike Myers playing Dr. Evil, not to be confused with Michael Myers, who is.
But
also
what if
not
Michael Myers was playing Dr. Evil though?
I'd see that fucking movie 100 times.
Someone please make
100 times. And it's just like a Michael mask and he's holding his pinky up. This is the best thing I've ever heard of.
Okay. What do I do? Okay. I'm gonna keep. I don't want to get involved. I don't want to.
Okay.
Stop trying to get me involved, Ketrin.
I'm sorry.
I don't want to.
I'm a busybody. You know
I
this
have
about
my
me.
life to live.
Yeah.
I've got my own life to live.
I just realized what would happen if I had a vampire neighbor.
Oh yeah, you'd be in it.
I'd be in it and I'd be like, Kim, let's go spy. And you'd be like, bitch,
I'm not trying to get bit.
It's not even my neighbor. I'm going home.
Next thing we know, where's Ketrin?
Yep. I'm a vampire.
That's me. He is. Oh fuck. He's clearly not letting it go.
Oh no.
That's not what's happening.
No.
So how does he not let it go? How does he keep holding on to the neighbor vampire story situation? Fuck. It's like, could be anything.
Yeah.
Okay. I think he's going to put together a plan.
A PowerPoint.
Yes. On a PowerPoint.
Cool.
You know how 80s kids love plans?
And PowerPoints.
And PowerPoints.
They do love plans.
And he's going to spy on the neighbors.
That's 1.5 points.
Great.
Stay out of this, bitch. You're right. Like, just stay out of
I
it.
don't wanna be
Just
involved.
fucking stay out of it.
Live your life. I'll live mine.
Yeah.
It's cool.
So he does put together a plan, which is why I gave you 0.5 point. But what he does is now he goes to the cops.
Oh, I didn't think he'd do that. Okay.
Well, he went to the cops at the wrong time. That's why you didn't get there. Because it's like the time to go to the cops was when I saw this chick walk into the house. I then saw her on TV having been murdered. This is direct and relevant information at this time. I'm going to the cops now. And he didn't.
Yeah.
Like now it's like, who knows what they did with the body? Like it's just.
And it sounds like a
less,
cuckoo banana story.
Yeah. Like it's just like less relevant now. Like whatever. So Chalrey now pulls up with a cop.
Okay.
And Billy Creep answers the door. And Detective Cop is like, is Jerry Dandridge home? And I was like, I'm sorry. Is there a fucking sexy ass vampire named Jerry Dandridge? Like he may as well be named Humperdinck. For sure. Jerry Dandridge?
Jerry.
I cannot. Like I can't.
Oh, Jerry Dandridge with those long nails.
Oh my God. It's
so
the
sexy.
worst. Like at least name him like Jean Valjean or something. Oh, that's from it's from Les Mis. Sure. Jean Valjean.
He's probably a vampire.
Yeah. So Billy Creep is like, no, Mr. Dandridge is out of town. I'm his roommate. And the detective is like, may I come in? Chalrey just fucking walks right in. And I'm like, this is like the least professional detective cop ever. And then like just Chalrey like has no chill at all. So Chalrey is like snooping around while the detective is like very calmly and adult like talking to Billy. And the detective is like, who were you with last night or something? And Billy is like, oh, it's just us here. You know, our alibi is each other, whatever the fuck. And Chalrey chimes in. He's like, that's not true. They weren't alone. I saw them take a body out. And
Chalrey.
Like, no, fucking chill. And so then Billy Creep is like, did you see the body? And Chalrey is like, well, no. And the detective is like, you're crazy, kid. And then Chalrey is like, let's look in the basement. There's a coffin down there because he's a vampire and his fangs and blah, blah, blah. And so now detective and Billy Creep are like, kid, you're nuts. And the detective gets mad now and like ushers Charlie out and is like, I'm so sorry. Like this, he's
way to ruin it, Chalrey.
Yeah, like completely ruined it. And like the detective is like, you're wasting my fucking time. So as Chalrey is ushered out by Detective Cop, Creep is like watching out the window. Detective drives away. Creep is now watching him from the balcony of the house. So it's like he was watching out a window and then he like went upstairs and like was now looking at a balcony. It's a very Victorian house, remember? Mm-hmm. And Chalrey is that like trying to chase down the cop and like he drives away. And then Chalrey like looks at the church down the street, back up at the Creep, and then looks at his watch and it's 4:23. And he's like, oh my God. And I'm like, what is your problem? So cut to, he drives to Evil Ed's house and is like, the vampire next door is going to kill me when he wakes up tonight. Help me. And Ed is so
I can't wait to see this character.
It's so strange. Like his choices were like, I'm like, are you mocking him? Are you taking him seriously? Are you insane? Are you mentally impaired? I mean, like I don't know. He's a full-blown mystery to me. So I just wrote, Ed is so strange, such strange choices. And so then Chalrey is like, I'll give you $8 to tell me what I should do to protect myself against a vampire. And I'm kind of like,
what?
don't you watch this like Peter Vincent vampire show all the time? Like, don't you know what to do? And so Evil Ed is like, get some garlic and a crucifix and holy water blessed by a priest and make sure that they're not, and they can't come in without being invited. And I'm like, can I have $8? I could have fucking told you that. Like, also, I'm like, how much was $8 in 1982? I want to postmortem that.
Yeah, good question.
Because I'm like,
also,
how
like,
much?
What shitty friends that you need to be like, bro, I'll pay you
For information
on how to survive.
Like, it was, yeah. And I'm almost like, I'm like, I don't even want to know what Evil Ed does with this $8 because he is an enigma to me and I don't want to know the mystery. / I desperately want to know the mystery. So cut to.
I want to spin off of Evil Ed.
I really want to spin. Like, oh my God. I just got to know what this actor is. I can't keep talking about Evil Ed, Kim. That's for my spinoff podcast. Okay. So cut to Charlie. Feeling more confident back up in his room and he's like nailing 2x4s over his windows, I guess. And I guess he's like feeling confident because he's like, well, he can't come in unless I invite him or whatever. So I'm like, well, therefore, why do you have the 2x4s? Whatever. Like, he's just a dummy. Then his mom calls him downstairs and she's like, meet the new neighbor.
Oh no.
Because like mom's trying to get fucked.
Of course
and, like,
she is.
Jerry Dandridge.
She was like, hey, Jerry Dandridge.
And I'm like, bitch, I do not blame. Like, I get it. A fucking hot neighbor moves next door and you're just like a wine drinking Valium single mom. Come on. And he's sitting in one of those wingback chairs, you know, like the kind that are in my living room where they've got like kind of like a blinder right where the head is. Okay. Yeah. And so like we can't see his face, but we just see him like put his hand up against like the wing of the chair and his nails are cut. So I was like, what? Hi? Like, hello? Like, wow. May I expose my neck to you? Yeah.
He did it for you, Captain.
Yeah, he did. And like, mom is like, I am feeling this. And I'm like, me too, mom. So he gets up and goes to shake Chalrey's hand. And Chalrey has no chill at all whatsoever. Like zero chill, like backing up, broke out into a flop sweat. And I'm like, dude, get it under control. And so Jerry is like staring straight at Chalrey and he's like, I'm really looking forward to dropping by whenever I want. And Chalrey's like, fuck. So Chalrey like runs upstairs and mom is like, I'm so sorry, my kid is a weirdo. And Jerry's like, kids. And so now we cut to nighttime. Charlie is again asleep in his chair with all of his clothes on. And mom is also asleep. And Chalrey wakes up to someone on the roof. And it is not Santa's reindeer. But I'll see myself out. So he goes to investigate. And he's like peeking around corners in his house, holding a crucifix. Downstairs, and there's a creaking outside. He goes into the living room. It's just a tree scratching the window. Oh my gosh. I'm just going crazy. It's just a tree. It's just the wind blowing. Cut to mom's room upstairs. And Jerry Dandridge is in mom's room.
Oh no.
And I just wrote, yo, he pretty sexy. Like he's got a real swagger. Like
very excited to see Jerry Dandridge.
He's
got that vampire glow.
He's got a real vampire glow. Like I was into
that VGE.
It. Yeah. I just wish his name wasn't Jerry. And I wish he kept his nails under wraps. So he walks out of mom's room into the rest of the house. And he shuts the door so that it latches and then keeps pulling. So it like kind of breaks the molding around the door so that the door is now stuck. So like he can't lock the door, but even if she were to try to open it, he's pulled it so hard with his vampire strength that like it's jammed basically. And he's just like whistling, super chill, goes into Charlie's room and is just like, doot, I can't whistle. Doot, 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 doot. Can you whistle? Sort of.
My lips were dry.
Yeah, her lips were dry, guys. Wait.
Now you're making me laugh. You just put your lips together and blow.
Ooh! Hey, so that's what Jerry Dandridge is doing. Yes, it was like a very, chill whistle. So cut to Chalrey walking back into his room. And he sees a light at the neighbor's house go out. And he's just like, what is that? As he's looking out the window, we see hot vamp Jerry Dandridge come out of the closet behind him. He just stands right behind Chalrey. And then Chalrey turns around and vampire grabs him by the throat.
Ooh.
And he's like holding him up. And I'm just like, I am not into this. Like, I just like,
oh boy.
He's just like so. I was really having like a Skelefrank kind of situation.
Yeah.
Where you're just like, I know that this dude is trouble.
I'm feeling it.
But like, I am into a little trouble.
Skelefrank.
Oh my God, So like, I would love to like put Prince Humperdinck, Jerry Dandridge up against Skelefrank.
Ooh,
and just,
okay.
Like, see what happens. So he's like holding him up by his throat. And Chalrey is like, whoa, whoa. And he says, wouldn't want to wake your mother. Otherwise, I'll have to kill her too. And then he fucking throws Chalrey into the closet and like the fucking door breaks and all that kind of shit. Then he walks over and he picks him up by the throat again. And he's like, you caused me a lot of trouble. The cops almost waking me up, during the daytime. But unlike me, you have a choice. Forget about me, Charlie, and I'll forget about you. As he's saying this, Chalrey grabs the cross that he's holding and he's about to like put it to the vampire's face, but the vampire grabs his hand and like bends it and breaks it so that like he drops it.
He's so strong.
He's very strong. Yeah. Like very strong. Whew. And then he starts doing this thing that was really creepy. He literally starts like slowly pushing him out the window, but like breaking the window like slowly. Like God. He doesn't like break it. Like he's just slowly pushing him out the window. Next to Chalrey is like his desk with like all of his desk shit on it. And he's like desperately trying to like grab at something like to protect himself. As he's doing this, he accidentally grabs a picture of Amy and it like falls out the window and like the picture itself is like impaled on the white picket fence that he is about to fall onto. And he keeps getting pushed out and he's just frantically grabbing. Kim, what do you do and what does he do? And I would say like the desk is in reach and the desk contains things that a desk has.
I'm going to grab preferably a letter opener, but if that doesn't exist, then I even go with pen or pencil or something and stab Jer Bear.
Okay.
And
where would you stab him?
I would stab him. Ooh, I'm going to get, I think let's go specifically pencil.
Okay.
Since it's more wood-like, and stab him in the heart. And then also in the throat. Seems like at least he'd drop me if I put the,
I like it.
But if my pencil didn't act as a wooden stake, I'm not sure that translates over.
Yeah.
It's a good postmortem.
Yeah.
Does a pencil count as a wooden stake?
Yeah. It's like, does the lead in a pencil negate the wood in the pencil?
Interesting. So
what does Chalrey do?
Or even you know what I mean? Like I'm not sure what's the easiest. So definitely I'm trying to stab him in the heart with a wooden stake.
Sure.
But if that's not fully capable or happening, then like throat and eye, I feel like is like where I'm headed.
I really like, I like where you're headed. Okay.
Just because I feel like that's at least let me go.
At least let me go. Mm-hmm.
I think that actually me and Chalrey are going to do it hand in hand. All right.
Queen. Yeah. So what he does is he does grab a pencil. And the places where you were going to stab him, much better. He stabs him in the hand that's on his throat. Which I'm like,
well, he's not a Sammy.
Yeah, and I'm like, you're panicked. So it's like, you stab him in the hand, he's definitely going to let his hand go. You know, like that kind of thing. Yeah. And so Jerry Dandridge lets him go. And he's like, owie, zowie. Like, he's definitely like hurt. Like, he's like, I didn't like that. And he kind of like backs away. Then we don't see his face, but he's like turned away and like, owie, zowie. And we see that his hand gets gross and the nails come back. So his nails are like when he's vampy. And he like,
weird.
Yeah. And he like pulls the pencil out and turns to Chalrey. And he's like a fucking gross vampire now.
Whoa.
Like red eyes, kind of bordering on slimy. Misproportioned face now, too much mouth, too many teeth.
Oh, I've never seen a vampire with such a transition before.
Was yuckos and pretty creepy. Like I didn't like it. I was kind of scaredies. And he like has this like growl, but that kind of growl where you're like, oh, is that growl coming from the very earth below you? And screams at Chalrey. And then we hear knock, knock, knock on the door from Mom. The vampire gets distracted and in his distraction, like turns back into like hot dude. So like kind of like his vampire features go away. And then the vamp leaves out the window and Mom is like, my door is stuck. She finally gets out. Like we hear her like trying to get out. And she comes in. She's like, Chalrey, what was all that noise? Like I'm trying to sleep. I have to work the night shift tomorrow. It sounds like you're having a rough night too. Do you want a Valium? And she's
Mom.
I mean, she's a single mom. She's got to do what she's got to do. And so she's like, what was that commotion outside? Because now we're like hearing something happening outside. And Chalrey is like, just raccoons. And so mom like goes back to bed and she's like, I have to get up at 3 a.m. Blah, blah, blah. So Chalrey goes back in his room and turns on the TV like stunned. But like he turns it on in a way that's like, I don't know how to process what just happened to me. It's an old bad vampire movie on again with Peter Vincent, the vampire killer from the beginning, the TV show. Mom goes to bed. Chalrey, weird. I typed that twice. He's all fucked up. Phone rings. He picks up, doesn't say anything. He just picks up the receiver. And then we just hear, I know you're there, Chalrey. And as he says this, we see blood dropping into a basin or dripping into a basin. And it's like hot vampire dude's hand. And it's the vamp on the phone. And he's like, I see you. And we push in on his face in the window. So it's like we realize like Chalrey is like seeing him see him. And he's like, I just destroyed your car. Nothing compared to what I'm going to do to you tomorrow night. And then we see that Creep is like tending his wounds. So like we're like, is Billy Creep his like familiar? Like it was like a very kind of like subservient way that he was tending to him. And then he hangs up the phone. Chalrey looks back to the TV and it's the Roddy McDowell show. And Roddy McDowell on the TV show is like, I'm a vampire killer. And he hammers a stake into a vampire's heart on the TV show. Kim, what do you do? And what does Chalrey do?
Okay. I think Chalrey starts preparing some steaks.
Okay.
The wooden kind. Not
as opposed to the meat.
Yes.
Got it.
Not the cheese kind.
Cheese steak.
Philly.
I was like, what kind of... never mind.
That was a deep cut Philly joke.
It was a deep cut Philly. I was going filet mignon steak. Again, our upbringings are so clear. I wasn't even trying for that.
Appropriate. So appropriate.
Quick, what do you associate with steak? Cheese! Filet mignon.
Okay. And I'm going to, let's see. I mean, this Jerry's got it out for me.
Oh no, Jerry's pissed. Sure.
I do have.
Jerry's like, mind your own beeswax, and you actively will not.
I do have. Okay. And like a vampire, like they can just fucking get anywhere real quick. So it's like, it's not even like I could just like leave town.
Yeah.
I feel like he'd still find me.
Yeah.
Okay. But I think my advantage is he's going to be asleep for like the next 12 hours.
Ooh, that's interesting.
So what I'm going to do is I'm going to also prepare some steaks.
Okay.
I'm going to eat them. And then I'm going to prepare more steaks
of the wooden kind. Yeah.
And I'm going to kill what the fuck Billy Creep, whatever the fuck his name is, familiar. And then I'm going to fucking go downstairs and find that fucking coffin and I'm going to stab him in his sleep. I'm going to go on the couldn't remember the word. Attack. I'm going to go on the offensive, as they say.
Yeah. That's a half a point for you.
Get damn.
Because there may be some surprises in your way that you didn't plan for.
Got you.
He does the most ludicrous, childish, nonsensical thing I've ever fucking heard in my life. He goes to where Peter Vincent, vampire killer, films his show.
Oh, no.
And I wrote set, school, professor. Like I was like so confused now because I was like, he's kind of dressed like a professor. So I'm like, was the show like an actual Peter Vincent who like thinks there are real vampires and it's some sort of like educational show? Like I just was very confused because I'm like, clear, like this would be like me accidentally chopping a limb off and being like, where's Meredith Grey? like, she's an actor. She's not a doctor. And so he goes there. You didn't like my deep cut Grey's Anatomy reference.
I was trying to follow the whole thing.
Yeah. It's fucking weird.
No, I think I was confused about what you were saying. Like, I got what you were saying at first, and then
I
went
lost
so
you.
deep into it that I was like, wait, is she saying something different than what I think she's saying?
Like, I'm just like, why would you go to an actor who plays something on TV
stupid.
and be like, I need your help? Like, it doesn't, yeah. So
I got it the first time you said it, before you went deep.
Motherfucker, are you with me now? Have you come back up to the surface?
I am.
Okay. So
we're on set.
Yeah. But he's like walking out to his car and he's like, Peter Vincent? And I'm like, also, why is he answering to Peter? Is his name Peter Vincent? So he's like, do you want an autograph? And he's like, no, I want to talk to you about what you said about vampires being real. Do you believe that? And he's like, of course I do. But I just got fired because your generation doesn't. And I'm like, okay, so he really believes in vampires. Is this a documentary show? What's going on? And I wrote, what is this show? So as he walks away, Chalrey is like, I believe in vampires. And Peter Vincent, PV, is like, perhaps if there had been more of you, my ratings would have been higher. And Chalrey is like, I have one next door to me. And at this point, PV is like, okay, wait a minute. Is this a joke? Like, he kind of drops character at this point. And PV walks away thinking Chalrey is crazy. And Chalrey is like, you said you believed in vampires. And PV is like, I lied. You're nuts. And he gets in his car and is just like, who does crazy motherfucker? And like drives away. So cut to, so that was a no-go with Peter Vincent. So cut to Ed and Amy pulling up to Chalrey's house like separately, but at the same time. And they both walk in. And weird choices abound from Evil Ed. And like I can't even tell you what, they were just too weird. So they walk into Chalrey's room and he has thousands of candles lit. And I'm just like, those are expensive. How did you pay for those? Or does your mom just have a closet of candles? In which case I also need to know about that. So he's like, sharpening a steak now. Okay. And he's like, I'm going to wait for the creep to leave. And then I'm going to go stab the vampire while he's asleep.
That was my plan too.
Yeah. So you just didn't waste time going to an actor.
It's bizarre.
Yeah. So Ed and Amy are like, he's going crazy. And Ed is like, this is just like Fright Night. Because remember the show is called Fright Night. And Amy is like, you can't go to your neighbor's house and like commit murder.
Like valid point.
I mean, you can't. And he's like, it's not murder if they're already dead. And I'm like, even this, you're really aggro with her. Like, she's just trying to prevent you from making a terrible mistake. Why are you like in her face with your chest puffed out? Like, Amy needs to get out of this. Mm-hmm. And so she's like trying to calm him down. And she's like, well, you can't go in there alone. And she's like, why don't you talk to PV? And he's like, I already did, and he won't help. And I'm like, is this
why is that? What's happening?
Why is this?
Do people in the 80s think that characters on TV are real life?
I guess. I guess. And so she's like, well, let's try again. And he's like, we don't have any time. And she convinces him to not go in alone at the very least.
Also, like, where are they? It's just it seems like a little tiny local town, but like he's just there filming.
I guess. I mean, maybe it's on like public
confusing.
access or something, I guess, maybe. And so, I mean, it's really campy, looked pretty low budget. So maybe it's like a public access channel, I guess. And so Amy and Ed are like, we will go talk to PV ourselves. And they make him promise not to do anything till he gets back.
What's happening?
I mean, I don't know. Like, I don't know if he's like a local town celebrity or.
So maybe he is Peter Vincent? That's not like a character?
Maybe. Like,
you need to postmortem this.
It's all very strange. So, because I'm like, maybe he's just like really up on vampire lore. So like his show is like talking as if vampires are real. And so people are like, like he is an actual expert, but like that's not what the show looked like. The show looked like I'm an actor playing a vampire killer.
Right.
Very confusing. So they're about to leave and she's like, let us go talk to PV. And he's like, you don't believe me, do you? And she just looks at him and she goes, I love you, Charlie.
Oh,
Amy. Like, oh, Amy. Like, I just.
Oh, Amy.
You're going to be going away to college soon.
My love. My
just
poor sweet Amy.
God, it's so heartbreaking. So, cut to Ed and Amy showing up at PV's house.
How do they know what's happening?
He must be like some sort of local celebrity, I guess.
What's happening?
But they show up, or just like listed in the phone book as like, here's where PV lives. And as he hears the knock on the door, we see him inside like looking at an eviction notice.
Oh no.
And so he lets them in, but is like all uncomfortable about it. And that like he tries to put on like parts of his costume to like look more professional. And I'm like, what are you? What are you? So they're like, we have a job for you. It's very important. It's saving a boy's life. And they're like, do you remember Charlie? And PV is like, yep, he's insane. And they're like, we legit need your help because he legit is trying to kill his neighbor. So PV says he needs a shrink, not me. And he can't help because I was offered a role in a movie and I had to quit Fright Night. Well, we know he didn't quit Fright Night. Yeah. And Amy is then like, I have a $500 savings bond. And he's like, I'll take it. And I'm like, Amy, that is going to appreciate in a way that you are currently not appreciating. You're going to need that $500 savings bond. Don't use it to save your piece of shit high school boyfriend. Come on. So he is now like into it and they're devising a plan and he shows them like a mirror, like a little compact. And he's like, this was a prop from a movie I shot as Peter Vincent or whatever. Cut to 3 trillion clocks, grandfather clocks going off in the vampire's house. And I realized they go off at dawn and sunrise and sunset. Being like, these are the times that you need to be aware of. Creep answers the phone in the house. I'm going to tell you what I figured out, not what actually happened, because it was very confusing and not done clearly. The vamp is waking up and Creep is like, the phone's for you. We hear Vamp on the phone say, oh, I love helping kids. Cut to PV, Ed, and Amy on the other end of the phone. They're the ones calling him. And Ed says, he says we can't bring a cross in because he's a born-again Christian. PV then says, how does he feel about holy water? Ed says, how do you feel about holy water? And he's like, he says no. And he's like, well, tell him it's tap water. All he has to do is sip it. And I'm like, what is the proposition? Okay, here's the proposition. I'm just going to tell you. Okay. I think what they were saying was, they assume this is not a vampire and that Chalrey is going nuts.
Right.
So what they want to do is they're like, the way that you can help a kid is to prove to him that you're not a vampire.
That would hurt a vampire.
Yes. So him saying it doesn't have to be holy water. Chalrey just has to think it's holy water and Vamp has to drink it and be fine, which he will be because vampires don't exist. So it doesn't matter that it's not holy water.
Right.
So basically it's 3 people who are like, vampires don't exist. Our friend is going insane. We have to play into it in a way, blah, blah, blah.
Okay. Makes sense.
That's the plan. Yes. Was not as clear as the way I just said it to you. So Vamp agrees and says, bring him by tomorrow at 6 p.m. I guess the sun has gone down by that point. So then Vamp hangs up the phone and he says to Creep, and he's like, we don't even have to go out tonight. They're fucking bringing him here tomorrow. I didn't say fuck, but they're just like, great, delivery, Grubhub. So cut to the 3 of them, Amy, Ed, and Chalrey, outside Vamp's house. And they're like, where is he? And we see that it's 6:10. So they're waiting for PV. PV pulls up He is in full Peter Vincent accoutrement. Okay. Full character now. He goes in with only holy water in his hand, even though he has like a whole briefcase of vampire killing things. And Chalrey is like freaking out because he's like, why did you leave the stakes in the car? And he's like, if you prove that he's a vampire, then I'll come back out to the car and get the stakes.
You don't have time for that.
It says Chalrey. Like, Chalrey is like, if we prove that he's a fucking vampire, then what is he going to do? Let us make a run out here? Like, what the fuck? So Creep then answers the door. Jerry comes down eating an apple again. He loves his apples.
I didn't know that vampires were so into apples.
I guess in this lore, the vampires I know are either unable to eat human food or disgusted by human food, or it has no taste.
Right.
So this apparently, like in this lore, he can eat and enjoy apples at the very least.
I don't something specific to apples.
Yeah, I don't know, but he like loves apples. He eats them like 3 different times. Yeah, I'm like, hey, do you want this little fucking apple? Oh my God.
Hey.
So
you can maybe just like cut it with your nails. Like,
oh
God. Pull the skin off with your long, gross.
This went to a place that I'm no longer okay with. And I'd like to back it up and circle back around if we could.
I want you to postmortem if there's a vampire apple situation.
A vampire apple situation. I will do that. Vamp apple sitch. Okay. I won't know what that note means later. It's hilarious. Jerry comes down eating an apple. And he's like, I've seen all your films. I found them very amusing. And he's like, and who are these? And he like kind of, his eyes fall on Amy. No. And he goes, attractive young people.
Whoa.
And he is really taken in by Amy. And like kisses her hand. Mm-hmm. And she's into it. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, see, Amy, this is a man. Okay? Mm-hmm. Like, just go.
Also, but how old is Amy?
Underage.
Ugh. And he's like 1,000 years old.
Right. Maybe it, like when you get to be like 1,000, it like circles back.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they all make fun of Charlie and are like, this is what vampires are supposed to do, aren't they? Meaning like seduce your girl.
Yeah.
And everybody laughs at Chalrey. And then they hand him the little vial of holy water. And PV turns to Chalrey and he's like, I saw the Father Blessed himself today. Vamp drinks it. Nothing happens. And PV is like convinced now. And Chalrey is like losing it. He's like, what? It wasn't blessed then. And he's like, touch this then. And he pulls out a crucifix. And we see that Jerry Dandridge kind of backs away, but nobody else notices because then PV grabs the crucifix and is basically like, you're being very rude. Like, he's like, vampires don't exist and you're being fucking rude. And Jerry Dandridge then like looks right at Chalrey and he's like, you've already caused your friends enough pain. You wouldn't want to cause them more. And Chalrey is like, no, I wouldn't. And so he ushers them out and Chalrey is kind of oscillating between, was I cuckoo bananas? Like, I really did make all of this up, or did I just get tricked? Like, he's very confused. And he's ushering them out, and Creep is staring at them creepily. And everyone is taken with him. Like, they're all just like, including moi. And PV is kind of standing away from the group a little bit and sort of like pulls out that compact mirror, like for no particular reason. And he catches a glimpse.
He's not there. There's nothing there. He's not there. There's nothing there. He's not there. There's nothing there.
Jerry Dandridge is not in the reflection.
Ooh.
So this shocks PV. and he drops the compact. And they all look at him. They're like, is everything all right? And he's like, oh, it's fine. I'm clumsy. We see his hand pick up the compact, but we see that a shard of glass stayed on the ground, like fell out of the thing, stayed on the ground. PV is like, oh, nothing. I already said that. He quickly leaves. They're like, okay, we should go. Blah, blah. And Chalrey is like, what did you see? You saw something. Like, you got fucking weird. And PV is like, fine, I did. Okay. He didn't have a reflection. Goodbye. And like drives away, like Kim style. Is like minding my own business.
None your business. Yeah. Goodbye.
And then Chalrey says, he's like, fuck, like, I don't know what we're going to do now. But like, Ed, you and I have to walk Amy home. We can't let her walk by herself. So they try to convince, as they're walking home, Ed's like, I'm going to take this shortcut home. And it's like this really fucking like misty alley.
Oh, great.
And he's like, I'm going to go down the alley. And they're like, don't, like, it's creepy. Like, even if there aren't possible vampires, like, don't walk down this weird, creepy, misty alley. Yeah. Like, if there's mist, it's dangerous. And he's like, I'm not scared. And then he like walks a few steps and then like screams. And they run over to him and he's like, he bit me. And then he like laughs. And they're like, you fucking asshole. And then they leave. As soon as they walk away, being like, fuck you, Ed, we hear someone land on the scaffolding above. It's Vampy. And he's pursuing Ed. He jumps down, Ed turns, Ed runs. And like he trips over those old metal 80s trash cans.
Yeah.
Trips over a ton of them. Just so many.
They're always laying around.
Just laying
fucking beat
around.
up, bent in half.
Never seen a new one. They're always...
They've always lived a life, those trash cans.
Yeah, they have.
Those trash cans were made in the 60s and then lived into the 80s.
Yeah, for sure. They are living their own big grandma energy in the 80s. So then he keeps running. The mist is coming towards him. Like, I'm just like, this is terrible. This isn't going to end well. And so there's lots of dead ends in this alley. So I'm like, how are these buildings laid out? Like, who was the city planner? Why are there so many turns and dead ends in this alley of mist?
Also, like, didn't you take the alley as like a shortcut? Like,
yes.
Don't you know where you're going?
Yes. I mean, maybe he's never had to. Yes, you're correct. But who is Ed? Nobody knows.
No.
So
I sure don't. I can't wait to.
I don't think he knows.
See a video.
Yeah. So how are these buildings laid out? All of a sudden, vampire, and he's just like looking at Ed, and he's like, "You don't have to be afraid. I know what it's like being different." Cut to shot of Ed with tears in his eyes, and I'm like, "Wait a minute. Are you a good actor? What is happening?" You are having a genuine moment of truth that you are portraying to me in a very heartfelt, convincing way. Who are you? Oh, God, it just vexed me so. And so he's like, they won't pick on you or beat you up. And I wrote, I never saw that happen. Like, if anything, I kind of saw Ed as more of like an instigator of bullying. But like, I guess he's kind of a small person, so like maybe he was getting bullied, but we just never saw
he sounds odd to me. To me, he sounded
maybe
like the kind of person that would get bullied.
Yeah.
But.
And he's like, just take my hand. So Ed fucking takes his hand.
Oh my God.
And is kind of crying.
Oh my God.
And then like embraces him like a little boy hugging his dad for the first time. And fucking Vampy like covers him in his cloak. And I was like,
really sweet.
My allegiances have changed. This looks like the healthiest father-son relationship Ed has ever had. Like, let him live his life and everyone just stay out of vampire business.
Yeah.
Like, everyone live their own life. So, cut to Amy and Charlie walking home, not far from the alley, and they now hear another scream. And Amy is like, don't go. Don't let him sucker you again. And then we hear an explosion.
Oh.
And it's a power outage because there's like this electrical box next to them on like a phone pole or whatever fuck that's like. my wires are broken or whatever. And they're like, what was that? And they're like, I don't know, but we better get out of here. And then they see something above them and they start running.
Uh-oh.
So they're running and they see a line for a nightclub. And they try to like get into the club through the line. But of course the bouncer is like,
everyone's like, wait in line, bro.
No. And they're
and
like,
also you're 5 years old.
Yeah. And they're like, we were being chased by a vampire. And they're like, so are we, I guess. Like, no, I've been standing here for 22 hours.
Literally everyone in that line. A line for a nightclub is not people you want to fuck with.
No, it is absolutely
because they've all
not.
been there for a really long time.
Those bitches are freezing.
A really dumb club that they're about to go into and have no fun.
Yeah, and the drinks are going to be
$22.
$22.
Like it's amazing.
Yeah,
pretend it's fun and cool, but it's not. No one's having a good time.
No one
has any joy inside a nightclub.
Literally, no one has ever enjoyed themselves.
But they
in
all
a nightclub.
are acting as if it's the best time they've ever had.
100%. The girls' feet all hurt.
They all hurt so bad.
So bad. They are freezing because you can't wear warm clothes while you're waiting in line, because then you get into the club and it's really fucking hot. What are you going to do? Carry around your parka all night when you have this really fucking lady of the night dress on? It's all miserable.
So all I'm saying is you try to get in front of them. Oh no.
Yeah. You better hope that vampire gets you.
Oh no.
Yeah. So they're running through and everywhere they turn, Jerry Dandridge is like easily in front of them, just sauntering and whistling. And I'm just like, your fucking energy is like the confidence. Like you could even negotiate with me about your nails at this point. Like
I bet he'd win you over.
I think he would easily win me over. Yeah. So they're trying to avoid him. They realize they can't. So they climb through the kitchen window into the club to escape him. Mm-hmm. And they blow past the chef who's in an actual chef hat. And I'm like, what club is this? What club has a full kitchen with a French chef serving people who are like in a full-blown Vegas nightclub? Where are the tables to eat? What is he cooking? So cut to Ed. Now we cut back to Ed at PV's door. Ed. Yes. PV's door. Gets to PV to let him in. And now it's revealed that Ed is a vampire. And he's kind of got...
He's got a new daddy vampire.
He doesn't have a new daddy vampire. And he's very loyal to his daddy. And still making weird vampire choices. But there's... he's got like... At this point, his choices make a little bit more sense because he's got kind of like David Arquette in the original Buffy the Vampire Slayer vibe. So it's like sort of working, but like it's still Ed, you know? And I'm just like, what are you? But then also you had that really heartfelt like moment that you really just tapped into. So what are you? So tries to attack PV. What do you do? What does he do?
I'm PV?
You're PV.
Oh, I mean, I'm going to grab a prop from my show and kill Ed.
Okay.
Obviously.
And what does he do?
I'm going to say we do it hand in hand.
Queen.
I'm into surviving, but I'm a little sad that Vampire Ed is dead. He just found his daddy vamp.
Well, is he dead? Let's find out.
Okay.
So PV grabs a crucifix. It's like the closest thing to him. And he like presses it to Ed's head. Uh-huh. And Vampire Ed like kind of starts crying a little bit.
He's so sensitive.
Like, he's very sensitive. And he's just like, my master is going to be really pissed. Oh. And like jumps out the window. Like, I just kind of feel like leave Ed alone. Like he just let him go just live with Jerry Dandridge and live his life.
Yeah. Just leave everyone alone.
Just literally 100% of the people in this movie just leave everyone alone and we'd all be fine. Some people would end up dead, but that's on them. They didn't leave well enough alone. So we now cut back to Chalrey and Amy in the nightclub, and they're trying to use a payphone. Remember those?
Mm-hmm. I recall vaguely.
Yeah,
pictures.
And so those in the museums.
Yeah.
So Amy says she's scared now, and she reveals that she paid PV to be there because Chalrey is like, we've got to call Peter Vincent, the actor. And and she's like, I paid him to be there. And then I wrote, oh, inexplicable chip clip in her hair. Like, she's got short Marcy hair, like what she had in. And it's just like a purple clip that's not holding anything.
A chip clip.
It looks like a chip clip. It looks like what you would clip up your chips with. It's a chip clip in her hair. Like I don't want these to go stale.
It's
it's a purple chip clip.
Like it's like sticking straight out.
Yeah, it's just like clipping nothing in her hair. Like it would be like it would just be like if I just went like just clipped it. It's not holding anything out of my face. It was
decorative.
It was definitely a decorative lavender chip clip for sure. So Chalrey is trying to get her to give him PV's number because Chalrey still believes that Peter Vincent has some sort of expertise. Cut to Jerry Dandridge.
Hi Daddy.
Straight the fuck into the club.
Hey,
the bouncer is
Daddy.
like, welcome. And every girl in there is like,
Hello.
Daddy. Yeah. Oh, he's got like some like palpable daddy vibes. I mean, it is
my zaddy.
He is a real zaddy. So cut to Vamp walking into club, parentheses, I'm into it, is what I wrote. And then Amy sees/feels Jerry Dandridge in the club.
Oh.
As Chalrey is on the phone being a fucking douche dick, Jerry Dandridge is just like walking past her and just kind of staring at her, just kind of like crossing her path a bunch of times. And she's into it.
Yeah, she is.
And I'm into it. And we're all into it.
Yeah, we are.
And then all of a sudden he's right in front of her. And he smiles at her.
Hi.
And she just like goes with him. And fucking Chalrey is still on the phone like, hello, I'm looking for Peter Vincent. And she's just like walking off onto the dance floor with fucking Jerry Dandridge.
That's right.
And Chalrey is trying to convince PV to come help. Cut to Jerry Dandridge dancing very sensually with Amy. And we are watching a sexual awakening happen. I mean, we are seeing a full-blown coming of age.
I feel you were saying the journey of Amy.
Oh, yeah. And like he's dancing behind her, you know, in that hot way. And like his hands are on like her torso. And
yeah,
then, oh my God, Kim, like this one. So she's got a skirt on, like a long skirt. And he starts lifting her skirt and like rubbing her top inner thigh. And I was just like, what is happening? And she's into it. And then for a second, she kind of snaps out of it and like kind of runs away.
Okay.
But then is into it again. And I'm like, I feel you, girl. Like he's a vampire, but also bite me.
Hey.
Yeah. So he just walks slowly towards her again. And now it's more slow dancing face to face. And then she touches his hot butt. And then he touches her butt. And then she exposes her neck to him.
Oh my goodness.
And I'm like, she's all grown up. She is feeling things.
We just watched her grow up in front of our eyes.
Watched her grow up. And so now she's kissing his neck and chest.
His chest too.
Yeah, because,
Ooh.
okay, he's got this almost like, I'm not going to describe this in a way that you will understand that it's hot, but he's wearing almost like a men's boat neck kind of sweater where it's like, it's just got a very open neck, but it's not like a V neck. I'll have to show it to you because I've never in my life would I've said like I'm into this, but I'm into this style. And then she kind of like kneels down in front of him, and I'm like, are we having a dance floor blowjob right now? What is happening? And I just wrote, I am shipping this. I am into this. Be vampire lovers together. This is great. I have zero objections. Except here comes fucking Chalrey onto the dance floor, ruining everything. And he's looking for Amy. And then she catches a glimpse of her dancing with Jerry Dandridge in a mirror. And she's dancing by herself. And she's kind of distracted, but doesn't stop dancing. But then here comes Chalrey, who's like, what are you doing? And right the fuck in front of Chalrey, Jerry Dandridge just straight up starts kissing her. And she's into it.
Yes, queen.
And I am into it. And I just am like,
we're all
Chalrey,
into it.
Get out of here, okay? You missed your shot. Leave everybody alone. Amy is a vampire now. So Chalrey tries to punch Jerry in the face, but Jerry, without even looking or turning his head, just catches Chalrey's fist and just turns to him and is like, don't lose your temper. Oh,
Zaddy.
So, and then he says, bring Peter Vincent to my house or you'll never see Amy again. So then he basically is like, come on, Amy. And she just like goes. And then two guys kind of like cut them off. And like, I can't tell if they were bouncers being like, we didn't let you in, or like if they were guys like trying to, I'm not really clear, but like basically their path was cut off. And two guys are kind of like messing with Jerry Dandridge. And at that point, Chalrey like grabs Amy and they make a break for it. Now, Jerry Dandridge vamps the fuck out, nails come out, eyes get red, and he just like slashes the dude. Now there's a commotion now because there's a fight that breaks out. So everyone is like rushing out the doors and Amy gets like swept into the crowd away from Chalrey, who can't get to her. And they're all like going down the stairs and Chalrey is like kind of up a level and he like sees Amy getting swept away. And then he sees that obviously Jerry Dandridge made it to her and he just like looks up and smiles and escapes out of the club with Amy. They're gone. So then Chalrey finally gets out and then we see them driving away in the back of the Jeep and Ed is like in the back of the Jeep with his like cross and is burned into his head and he's just like Cut to Chalrey goes to Peter Vincent's house again. Peter Vincent makes him touch a cross to prove he's not a vampire. Chalrey comes in and PV is trying to skip town. And PV's like, wants to call the cops. And Chalrey convinces him that they won't believe him. And he's like, listen, kid, Peter Vincent is just a character in a movie. I'm fucking terrified. And I'm like, thank you. So then there's like sweet music happening where like somebody has revealed something honest. And Chalrey is trying to convince him like, I need your help. And PV is like, I won't do it. I'm scared. Cut to, bitch, get ready.
Whew, okay.
Take a deep breath. Get ready. Ouch. Take a drink of water because this is getting real.
Oh, boy. Oh, boy.
Cut to Amy in front of a hearth.
Okay. I like hearths.
A soft white rug.
Yeah, I see it. I feel it.
In a gauzy gown with snacksy music.
Snacksy.
She wakes up. Where am I?
Hello?
And she looks around and she sees a portrait on the wall of herself.
Me?
And we realize it was his old lover. She looks exactly like her. And that's why he was like, you're mine. So here he comes. Shirt unbuttoned.
Hello.
And I wrote, girl, just go with it. Like, just do this. And I wrote, she's not into it. He sits on the rug with her and kisses her. And I'm like, I bet Chalrey doesn't kiss like that. That is a grown-up kiss. Like, that is a tutorial on kissing. And it's real close up. And it was a lot. Then he bites her just a wee bit so that she's just like, ow. And then he stops. And I wrote, yo, Kim, this is fucking hot.
I gotta watch this.
Yeah. And then I wrote, Prince Humperdinck, am I right?
No, goodbye.
And then I saw myself out, but came back real quick because it's still happening. She then unties her own dress.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm like, Queen, get it. This is happening. She kisses him and they are making out. And I'm like, very different makeout than the beginning with Chalrey. These people are pros. And then he bites her neck. And I'm like, there was no pain in the sound she was making. She was having a full-blown, full-body orgasm at that bite. And we were watching it happen. And I was like, what is the problem here? Like, what is the problem? You're going to be his vampire lover for eternity? Like, great. I don't see the issue.
Yes.
What, you're going to go back to Chalrey?
Yeah.
Like that little fucking high school turd bucket? You're going to go back to that motherfucker? I guarantee you he doesn't take enough showers and he doesn't know how to kiss and he's super fucking gross and he's mean to you. Just go be a vampire queen.
Yes.
Oh, God. Okay. Ooh, they gave me a break because it was a lot. Cut to sad sack Chalrey walking through the trees.
God, just mind your own business, Chalrey.
Your own business. You've lost Amy. Walking to the house alone with like a cross around his neck because Peavy wouldn't come help him. So there's a creepy rocking chair on the porch. And this is where I went, this house couldn't have been anything other than a vampire's house. Like it was the only house on the block that looked like this. And I'm like, it was a vampire's house. So there's mist everywhere. And all of a sudden, Peavy is there. Peavy has decided to help. And he is in full regalia. And I'm like, did they just let you keep all your costumes? Never mind. So he says, he's like, I've got a gun for Creep because he's a human. And then I have all these fucking stakes and holy water and all the shit. I'm bringing it all in this time. And they're like, let's go sneak around the back. But then the front door creaks open. Kim, what do you do and what do they do? So the front door was like, come on in.
I go inside. I take my clothes off. And I run dirty dancing style and jump into the arms of my new zaddy, Jerry Dandridge.
God, can we legally change your name, please? Also, before you even answer, I'm giving you a point for that. There is no other fucking answer.
Live as a vampire queen.
As a vampire
forever.
Queen, please.
With this sexy, sexy man.
Yeah, and what do these fucking idiots do?
Oh, God. Oh, these idiots.
Yeah.
I think they split up. And one goes in and one goes around back.
Okay. 1 point. They don't split up, but they do go in the front, which I'm like, I feel like the door was like telling you to come in the front. Like,
it's clearly tricking you.
Yeah. Like, don't listen to the trick door. But they go in and of course the door slams behind them. So now they're creeping around the house. And Peavy is like kind of starting to lose his cool. Like he's like, what have I gotten myself into? Here comes Vamp. And he's like scraping his nail along the banister and like swirls of wood are coming up. And I'm like, I may be coming around on nails. Not fully, but there are some things happening within me. And he mockingly looks at them and says, welcome to Fright Night. Like just being a dick. And I loved it. And then he's like, Amy's right up here. You just got to get past me. And Peavy pulls out a cross and fucking Jerry Dandridge just grabs it and crumbles it.
Ooh.
And he's like, you have to have faith for this to work on me.
Ooh.
And I was like, damn. So now Jerry Dandridge starts approaching PV. Charlie then grabs his cross and Vamp lets out like this creepy moan and backs away. So clearly Chalrey
believes.
He believes, and we hear like that guttural groan from the depths of hell.
I'm sorry, what?
So sorry. I had a malfunction there. And then all of a sudden, Creep is there and pushes Chalrey off the fucking stairs, over the banister, down to the first floor. Peavy then runs out, and Creep and Vamp just stand on the stairs, and like Vamp kind of like puts his arms over Creep's shoulders and just kind of smiles to just be like, this is fun. Cut. Oh God.
Gosh.
Cut to Peavy running into Chalrey's house, trying to call the cops, but the phone wires are cut. And he's like, what the fuck?
Wait, where is he?
Chalrey's house next door.
PV is at Chalrey's house.
Yes.
Okay.
So he goes up to the room and he like tries to wake up Mom, who is apparently wearing a wig made of red yarn. Turns out it's not his mom, it's Ed in a wig made of red yarn. And he makes strange Ed choices, full vampire, so excited to be a vampire. And I wrote, I guess lesser vamps are always ugly. Like they don't get to like transform back and forth to like passing as human versus monster face.
So like a little baby vamp.
I guess so, yeah. And I was like, Ed looks very, very gross. Like very gross. Much grosser than Jerry Dandridge, and just kind of sweaty and slimy and too many tooths. And his choices are so strange. And he's just, I guess, relaying the mom's work schedule to PV, just being like, she works nights. That's why she's not here. And I'm like, okay, all right, fine. Sure. And PV runs out and he trips over a mini wood credenza in the hallway and it breaks. He looks back at the bedroom, and out from the bedroom comes a wolf.
What?
And I was like,
what?
Do these vampires also turn into wolves?
What?
I mean, that
I gotta, makes me like them more.
I know, but I also have to, I gotta postmortem that. I always thought the vampires and werewolves were very much like, this is my territory, this is your territory. Right. But apparently, fucking Evil Ed wolfed out. So Peavy is laying on the ground, sort of on this broken wood credenza. Here comes this beautiful, magnificent creature of a wolf bounding towards him. What do you do? What does he do?
I take the broken bits from the fucking broken thing that I just fell into and stab him. And he does the same, hand in hand. The wooden stabby part.
Yeah. And I'm like, yes, you just stabbed a wolf. But then like the wolf whimpers like an actual wolf, falls off the balcony, stays a wolf, and is like wiggling around in pain like a wolf. And I'm like, can you please fucking change back to a human so I don't have to care about the pain you're in? And Peavy is just like looking down at him, and the wolf is like now kind of trying to change back into Ed, but it's like a very slow, painful, kind of sad process. And I'm like, this Ed is just a tragic character. And Peavy is just watching it and just kind of like, wow, this is a bummer. And I didn't like it. And then finally, Peavy just kind of watches part wolf Ed die while sort of crying. And it made me really sad. So cut back to Vamp House. Jerry Dandridge is carrying Chalrey over his shoulders, and he throws him into the hearth room with Amy. Straight up, like tauntingly throws him a steak, being like, you'll need this, and then locks the door. She's looking like she's going through full-blown train spotting heroin withdrawals, okay? Crumpled on the floor, fetal position, super sweaty, shaking, unwell. Whoa! And we're back. Kim just knocked over her mic. So vamped out. Cut back to PV with Ed, and he pulls the table leg out of Ed and heads over to the neighbors with this wooden stake that he's like, I now have proof that this kills vampires. Cool. Goes upstairs, hears Chalrey crying over almost dead / vamped Amy, and they're talking through the door. And PV is like, make a bunch of noise so that I can break down the door. So basically he's saying, be like, help, help, and bang on the door a lot so that as I'm banging on the door to try to open it, like it won't be as noticeable. They'll think you're just yelling for help. But
so like PV got all the way inside?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, just,
Okay.
So Vamp and Creep hear it, but they think it's only Chalrey, like, wah! And PV manages to break down the door, and Chalrey shows PV Amy. They then hear something now that the door is broken down, and Creep and Vamp head upstairs. Back with PV, Amy and Chalrey, PV says if we kill Jerry Dandridge by dawn, she'll be fine because she hasn't fully transitioned yet. It takes like a night to transition. And he's like, just like in the movies, everything I've done has worked, like from what I know of the movies. Then we see POV of someone listening outside the window of the room they're in as Chalrey and PV run out of the room with stakes. Amy's in withdrawal, and now her hair is longer. She's got long hair now.
It's like because the long nails, long hair.
Oh, look at you with the
vampires
science.
Are just full of biotin.
Yeah.
Got a lot of biotin in vampires.
Are you a fucking Peter Vincent vampire scientist?
Luscious hair and nails.
Yeah. Yes, that is what's happening because it is no longer a Marcy cut. So cut to Chalrey and PV in the house, and they're kind of creeping around. Peter Vincent then pulls out a gun because, let me go back. Cut to Chalrey and PV in the house, creeping around. They meet Creep Billy. PV pulls out a gun. Creep just keeps coming towards them up the stairs. So they're at the top of the stairs. He's at the bottom. He just keeps coming. PV shoots Creep right in the fucking head.
Whoa.
He falls down the stairs through mist. And here comes Vamp. And Chalrey holds up the cross to him, and we get another growl. Like it works whenever Chalrey does it. And Chalrey says, we've got him now. And then in his growl voice, Jerry Dandridge goes, do you? And runs away. And they look confused, and they're like, yeah, we've got him. Like, what is he talking about? Then we see over their shoulder, Creep sits up, Michael Myers style. Oh. Here he comes behind them up the stairs. They turn and they shoot him over and over and over and over, and he finally falls back down through lots of house mist. Then he fucking keeps coming.
What?
And he lifts PV up by his neck. Kim.
What?
As Chalrey.
Oh, God.
What do you try now, and what does he try?
I'm going to try to... my instinct is to stab him with my crucifix that I have, I guess.
Oh, okay.
Do I have any other weapons?
You have your entire PV arsenal of various vampire things.
But I'm Chalrey.
But PV is standing right next to you. And
okay.
Yeah.
Then
you also have...
grab
give it away.
a stake and stab him with that.
Okay.
I don't know how he's a vampire because wasn't he alive out during the day sometimes? What's happening? Whoa.
Yeah.
But I'm still going to do that. And I think hand in hand.
I think you have the right idea that it's like, who knows what's going to kill him? Who knows what he is? But the gun didn't work.
I've got a package of steaks next to me.
Yeah.
A full pack of steaks.
So you're going to eat them real quick. Build up your strength.
They're frozen, and I'm just going to stab them with them.
So
that was a deep Philly cut.
Real deep.
Steakums.
Real deep. So what he actually...
Dina.
Hi, Dina. So what he actually stabbed him with was the stake that fucking Jerry Dandridge threw to him tauntingly.
Ooh.
And I realized he threw it to be like, you're going to have to stab your girlfriend because she's vamping.
Right.
But instead he stabbed fucking Billy Creep. So here's what happens to Billy Creep. He gets stabbed. And then he starts slowly turning to green goo sludge and dust bone. And all that's left is his sizzling, burning skull after the rest of his body disintegrated into green, you can't do that on television, slime, and sand.
Whoa. What is he?
My hypothesis is that he's some sort of undead familiar.
We saw him in the sunshine, right?
Yeah, that's why he's not a vampire. He's like an undead type of situation, but also killed by stakes. Weird. So I'm going to research that as well. This has been a
huge postmortem episode.
I mean, it's going to be
have a lot
I need
of
like
Fright
my
Night research.
I'm going to have to do my own postmortem.
I know.
This is like intense. So turns into green goo slime. They then run back up to Amy. Peavy is looking out the window. He comes back in just before the vamp gets him. So like Jerry Dandridge is like crawling along the wall outside and he's like, gotcha. But Peavy runs away. They run back into the room realizing that they've got to kill him quick to fix her because she's almost vamped. Then we hear Vamp on the roof in full vamp chanting for Amy. And he's like, awaken. Awaken, my love, and kill them. And they hear him on the roof. Chalrey runs to find him. PV goes to the room where Amy is because she screamed like in pain. Mm-hmm. And now she has even longer hair and growl face. PV holds up a cross and it works this time because he has faith. And like, I guess like it worked on Ed too. Like, I guess like if it's a super powerful vampire like Jerry Dandridge, like you need lots of faith.
Right,
maybe?
right.
And so like she like kind of cries and he shuts the door, like shuts her into the room to be like, just stay in there till we can figure this out. PV then comes out. Chalrey is like, he isn't on the roof. And all of a sudden, there he is outside the window. And then there's banging on the door. Because remember, he can like be in lots of different places. And Chalrey goes to the banging door. But the vamp busts in through a stained glass window right above PV at the top of the stairs. Fucking vamped. Like the vampiest that we've seen him. Where it's like, you're just a straight up monster. And PV pulls out the cross and the vamp starts laughing maniacally. And he's like, you have to have faith for that to work. And I'm like, whoa, his laugh and shit is very scary. Like it was scary. It was scary. And PV holds up the cross again and smiles. It starts to work. And then all of a sudden, all the fucking clocks start going off. Jerry Dandridge lost track of the time. The sun's coming up, motherfucker. So all of a sudden he's freaking out and they're like, you're out of time. Look over your shoulder. Just before a beam of light hits him, he turns into a giant, slimy, hairless bat that's like the size of a pit bull. Like it was big and it starts attacking PV. And Chalrey goes to help and slimy vampire bat bites him on the arm. And then the sun comes in more and it kind of like sizzles his wing and he flies away down into the basement. Chalrey and PV head down to the basement to kill him. And they're looking around the basement and the basement is just all of the windows, like, you know, basement windows where they're like kind of above your head are all blacked out, obviously. But it's like windows all the way around. And he's like, you keep searching for the coffin. I'll check it out. Chalrey goes off, cross-drawn, and then all of a sudden, here comes hot vampire Amy. And she's like super fucking hot now. Cut back to PV finding the secret passage to the coffin. And he's like, it's locked from the inside. Chalrey is distracted because he's about to get seduced by hot vampy Amy, who's like, I know my worth now, motherfucker.
Yeah, bitch.
So then he holds up the cross to her and she turns away and starts crying. And she's like, It wasn't my fault. You promised you wouldn't let him get me. Kim,
Yeah.
what are you doing? What does Chalrey do?
I don't want to be Chowry.
Sorry.
I don't want him. Okay. I think we hand in hand stab her with a fucking stake. Do we still have stakes? Where are we? What's happening? Who are we?
You have things. Yeah, you have whatever you need.
Okay, wait, no. Okay, I think I stab her with a stake.
Okay.
He gets tricked and succumbs to her crying act.
Yes. I mean, I get that there's a way to save her, but it's like, let's just cut the shit. I mean, let's just stab the fucking vampire. So he goes to comfort her, and all of a sudden, full vamp. And I'm talking too many fangs, too much mouth. Like her entire bottom half of her face is a mouth. And it was scurry. And she like lunges at him, and he's trying to like dodge her and hide behind shit in the basement. But she's like super strong. Like she just like moves it out of the way. So I'm like, Chalrey's fucked. Like you're getting your comeuppance for being a shitty fucking boyfriend. Because now your vampire girlfriend is going to eat your head. Peavy finally gets the coffin open, and we hear a and Peavy takes his hammer and chisel. This is how they stab vampires in this movie, and starts chiseling into his chest. Jerry Dandridge just sits up and pulls the stake right the fuck out.
Zaddy!
Kim,
What?
that didn't work. What you gonna do, and what do they do?
Okay. How else do I kill a vampire? I don't know. I take my clothes off.
Yep.
Hop in that coffin, lay down and give him my neck.
Yep.
And say, take me forever, Zaddy.
Yep. Point for that. Correct.
They, for some reason, want to kill him.
I don't understand
I don't
it.
get.
Yeah.
But
Please let Amy and Zaddy just live in fucking peace.
so they are okay. So they put a stake in him and it did nothing.
It didn't fucking work.
How else do I kill a vampire? Okay. Ooh. Okay. Ooh. They break a window so the sun comes in. Yes.
You got it.
Yeah.
That's why I was like, there's windows everywhere. So someone, either PV or Chalrey, then throws a stake and breaks a tiny window where light comes in. Then Jerry gets pissed and lunges at PV. Amy lunges at Chalrey, but Chalrey manages to break more of the windows. And now like Jerry's in a place where like he can't hide from the sun. Like he's basically like kind of stuck in one place. And they keep throwing things at blacked out windows until he has nowhere to go, and he just kind of starts sizzling. And he tries to like bolt back to his coffin, but PV closes it really fast. And then starts laughing. He starts laughing maniacally again. Chalrey runs up and breaks even more windows in direct line of him. And he's blown back into the wall and ignites / turns into a skeleton bat demon that's like blowing up / melting / exploding / turning into skeleton / dying and dies. Also very, very scary. Like I was like, this is scary. I know. I'm just such a waste. Such a fucking waste.
What do I have to do to get a man? Oh my God.
I know. I
so
just want
a good man.
This was so
who
triggering.
Treats me well.
This was so
Treats
triggering.
me like the queen that I am.
Yes. Oh my God. I'm so sorry. You're so right. So cut to, or like now we see like, okay, PV and Chalrey like sit up, and so does Amy, who's back to normal now with her far less flattering haircut. And she hugs Chalrey. And I'm just like, oh,
God.
Like, you've experienced what's out there. Like, how can you go back to this? And so then they pull PV in for a hug. La-di-da. Cut to next night. Camera moves from the vamp house to Chalrey's house like it did in the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
Amy and Chalrey are in their room making out. Mm-hmm. But Amy's clearly taught him because it's way less gross making out, and they're actually laying on the bed. Mm-hmm. And they're watching Fright Night together because PV got his fucking show back. And he actually like references Charlie in the show and is like, right, Charlie? Wink. And they're all like, ha, all is well. Then outside the window, did Chalrey just catch a glimpse of red eyes across the street? Amy says, something wrong? Chalrey says, no, babe. And then he jumps back into bed and keeps making out with her. And the movie goes black as we hear Ed. Oh, you're so cool, Brewster. The end.
Ooh, Ed's still a vampire.
And
alive.
I just realized right now, if the stake didn't kill Jerry Dandridge,
right.
maybe it didn't kill Ed.
It just hurt him because he's a baby vampire wolf.
Maybe. Yeah.
Wow. I mean, I this must have happened before, but I really was not rooting for the team that movie wanted me to root for.
No.
At all.
I was
like, could Charlie, what's his name?
Charlie.
Chalrey.
I just could not at any point type
could Chalrey please die already?
Yeah.
I'm so over him.
Or just like mind your own business and let Amy go. Like, just let her go. Just let her go be a vampire queen.
What an unhappy ending.
Yeah.
Barf.
And like, she seemed really fulfilled like as a woman with Jerry Dandridge. How can we say that name?
Jerry
Dandridge. Let me count your points. You process that. Hey, Sammies. Can't get enough of us? God, you're so greedy.
Jeez.
Come join us over at our Patreon where we have tons more Kim and Kat for you.
Yeah, come get some bone con.
That's bonus content.
We've got t-shirts. We've got videos with research and fun shit.
What else we got?
We've got home games so you can play along. Exclusive poll voting things.
And we have exclusive content that you can't get anywhere else.
So join us and become an official Sammy at our website, www.kimandkatstayalive.com. You can find Patreon and any of our links on social media at kksampodcast, or just go straight to patreon.com. Search for us there. We'd love to have you. Can't wait to see you, Sammies. Goodbye. Bye.
Are you ready?
I'm ready.
You got fully seduced by Jerry Dandridge.
Yeah, I did.
Obviously, your Dead and Alive's terrible. You got 2 out of 6. I mean, truly, just the probability of you getting that many wrong is astounding. But you did get 19 out of 24 on the questions.
Yeah, see?
Mainly because when you knew that the answer was to fuck Jerry Dandridge, you got it right.
My entire strategy for this movie was mind your own business and then fuck Jerry Dandridge.
Yeah, and that's what kept you
really
alive.
Won me.
Yeah,
Really,
I mean,
won.
you did fucking great. So that was a total of 21 out of 30 points.
All right, I'll take it.
I mean, you killed it.
Wow, that was fun.
It is great.
I liked it.
And I cannot wait to watch it with you.
Yeah.
And I'm just like,
Woo.
Prince
I'm
Humperdinck, am I right?
I don't know if I want to watch it with you. I might need to watch it on my
alone.
own.
I mean, that's fine with me
Just
too.
have my own time with it.
Yeah, it was wow. But I was just like, damn.
Very excited.
Okay, so patrons or non-patrons, come on over to our Patreon because I'm going to do a full hour-long episode about the dude who played Ed because I gotta know about this guy.
Plus, there's so much other post-mortem
This
stuff.
was a post-mortem heavy episode.
Well, thank you so much to our Sammy patrons.
Yeah.
And,
this is great. Real treat.
this was a real treat. You
Yeah.
guys know what we like.
Yeah.
And what will be fun.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. This has been Kim and Kat Stay Alive.
So please follow us on social media at kksampodcast.
Yep.
And please, if you would, subscribe, rate, and review.
Yes.
And
also tell a friend. Like, if this is something that you enjoy, fucking shout it from the rooftops, okay? Tell people.
Yeah.
Invite them to the party.
we love you so much. This has been Kim and Kat Stay Alive.
Maybe.
So until next week,
Stay
alive.
Ghosted me.
I'm done.